Hey man, this is Tommy Chung, and you're listening and watching Harris is Drinking Again. Sounds like a ghetto movie.
What's cracking, y'all? It's Lil Kelpie from the 1503, aka Kelpie the P, aka call me whatever you want, just don't call me broke. And I'm fucking with the Harris is Drinking Again podcast, one of the first podcasts or platforms to put me on. Y'all better stay following them, watching them. Stay tuned for more shit. Big things happening in the future.
Harry's Drinking Again?
Yo. Back up in the building with another edition of the
Harry's Drinking Again
podcast. I'm your host, Harry Too Scary, aka Mr. Harris. And tonight we got an amazing show. TNR episode 041 up in the building. Brother Ray G will be up in here. We have an interpreter on the show tonight. We're going to let him tell it a little bit more. Military background, studies Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it should just be a lit ass show. The link. All right, and Brother Ray and Rico, if y'all out there listening, re-click the link because I don't see you in the back in the green room anymore. So just want to make sure you're up in the building. And then we're going to get right to it. Starting off tonight, we're gonna definitely play some local artists tonight. And we're going to get into everything. Let's go ahead and get this show started off with a little Daylight. One of my favorite artists over here.
Yo, I'm a boss spitter.
And we sipping on that Pendleton.
But I'm still a dog nigga. I'm a hard spitter, black hole. I'm a star killer. I'm a boss.
You gotta spit something for us. Can you spit something for us?
I could feel it in my skin. I was bugging, nigga.
More yelling.
More yelling.
Then we got some Alaska Amber on deck. Couple of pre-rolls. It's gonna be a good night.
Nigga, you don't want no beef inside the cipher. Put it all the stage. Yo. Ain't no beat in this machine. They got bots, game stalking. Ain't no talking to the ops. Niggas watch snow. Binary, see the code. I'm the one you niggas old. I get 10 for show. My attention never low. All that flow, I got you slow. Don't do alcohol, do alkaline mode. Give me more, I get low with my high vibe.
Kundalini
color, brother, tie-dye. They the wave, niggas stuck, played okay. They don't believe. No, when you make it cross the wall, got your dome big. Your mind high on some grown shit.
Mental free my people.
Fuck the Bible with a long dick. Price hopping. Night popping, roll the dice, hopping. Ain't no stopping, got the night popping, Christ conscious. Niggas cashing for respect, I go a cashing for the records. No regret and live the vibe, this is fire, nigga, Christ conscious. Yo, never lay, yo.
I'm gonna send another link. Just in fucking case. Melon be on some bullshit. And shout out to Podbean.
Yeah. I did gimmicks, I could rap, got the burbs, got the traps, antics off, seen the grapes, hood of jungle, seen that Geo, flip-flop by the gym with Teal, ask my nigga L.I.L., baby L, we was kids, man that dirty flow was lit, flip, watch my home, I put on, I seen cats gonna get put on, but they never got respect, if you don't grow up in the gym, watch they forever test your rep, if they stare you better step, boy this ain't the look you want, background checks gonna look you up, homies show you they could read, they be going for the book. Hit the park and son get robbed. They be leaving niggas shook. I need a big hug, free my nigga. Got some shit in work, so one day I can see my nigga. Price hopping, night popping, roll the dice hopping. Ain't no stopping, got the night popping, Christ conscious. Niggas cashing for respect, I go a cashing for the records. No regret and live by, this is fire, nigga, Christ conscious.
You are now listening to 100 Books.
Yeah. Meditate from Daylight. Also go check us out on Twitch under Haida Podcast. I seen YouTube roll out the new YouTube handles. Our YouTube handle is Haida Podcast. I'll put that up on the screen later tonight as well. The Cash App Haida Podcast,
Brother
Venmo
AG
Haida
joined.
Podcast, all the above. All right.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known.
I don't want to get no claim yet, man. Shit, man. Let's see if giving you trouble. All right. Yeah, man, we got a lit motherfucking show in here tonight. Ray's got some big news, big news, brother Ray. He is back in the mainland after over a decade doing big things with his Heaven Bound nonprofit. Yo, he's glowing, man. Yo, Ray don't even need a ring light tonight because the damn aura around this man is so big and so shiny. He don't even need a damn ring light tonight. So I know he's pumped up. And real quickly before I bring him on, shout out once again to Steve Joyner putting this together, Mark Christopher, Larry Hankin, and the young man Little Kelpie. Our clip currently is over 6,000 views on the Harris is Drinking Again podcast. And tonight we are definitely looking forward to breaking 150 subscribers. So thank you so much to the people that have been tapping in. Source Jedi, Drunk, Kango Walls, everybody up in the building, man. That Little Kelpie clip sitting on 6K. So we appreciate it. Now, without further ado, like I said, man, his aura is so damn big. He don't need a ring light. He barely needs an introduction. Coming live, back from the mainland, live from Reno, Nevada, 775, Brother Ray G.
What's good, yo? What is good? I'm back home.
All right.
Man, I'm back to wearing sweaters, my pea coats on point.
You over there in the pea coat in the wintertime. North Nevada, bro. How do you feel? Man? Before we get our special guest up in the building, how do you feel?
Man, I tell you what, brother, man. This is crazy. My whole trip, my whole journey getting back to Reno. I lived here about 15 years ago. And 15 years ago, just so that everyone knows, Harris and I, along with the other crew, shout out to Don Beanie Bean and Scuba Steve and Zonezilla, aka Therapeutic. We did this thing called Yam Jam. And from Yam Jam, it was May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 2007. My father-in-law passed away, and I had to leave that July of 2007 to Hawaii. Anyways, from Yam Jam, 15 years, I've been away from my brothers, been in Hawaii, and I felt at home, man. I feel like I'm at home. I mean, it's strange, bro.
Aviles joined.
I feel at home, and it's cold as fuck over here. But you know what? And I've been in Hawaii for 15 years, and I kind of like. Of course, okay. Just to everyone know, my family, they follow me, just myself, because my kids are grown. My wife and I have been married over 25 years, so I guess in every marriage, you need a little break whatsoever. And coming back here, I just, shout out to Heaven Bound Lifestyle Center, which I am an assistant program coordinator, brother, and also a DSW. That's a disability service worker. And the people I'm helping are people with a certain type of mental disability, adults, and it's very rewarding. It's very humbling, very rewarding. I feel at home, and I'm here in Reno, and Harris is drinking again, and just big things are gonna happen. That's all I can say. Thank you for having me back, brother.
Yes, sir, man. Good to have you back. I know, I feel your energy over there, even though I'm not there with you, and I know some big things is going on. I know how you work when you. This is just great, man. It's amazing how things come full circle.
Don B and I gonna come. We're gonna come holler at you and drive up over there in Ogden where you are, bro.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's gonna be a reunion.
That's gonna be a major reunion. Absolutely. All right. Well, so other than that, in our mini viral week that we're still going on, I just noticed Lil Kelpie got an interview on Cam Capone a few days ago. It's pushing 50,000 views. So forgive me, I'm gonna put out some more Kelpie clips this week and try to get me another one, boss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, we could just do another interview with Kelpie.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach back out and see if you want to come over there and get in podcast. But tonight it ain't about Little Kelpie.
Nope.
Tonight it ain't about. Shout out to you, Mark Christopher Lawrence. It ain't about Larry Hankin.
It ain't about Artie the One Man Party Hoffman.
It's about Artie the One Man Party.
Oh man,
we have a gentleman, Richard Aviles, aka Rico Aviles. He's gonna come on and explain more of his background. He owns and hosts his own podcast called Rico Podcast, which you can catch on all platforms. And looks like a co-owner at Reds and Rico's Clothing. He has a former military background. I don't think he's a man to be played with. He does a little Brazilian jiu-jitsu and has a military background. And he is an interpreter for the Alphabet Boys and such. We'll let him explain. And I think we'll bring him on here now. Let's see. Let's get him lined up here. It was a great enough introduction. TNR 041. Ricardo Aviles.
What is going on?
What's up, Rico?
What's up, y'all? Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for doing this show with us, my brother. And we look forward to making all these great connections every Thursday night, man. And getting to know our guests and, running and ripping. And so right off the bat, for people that may not know, you have your own podcast that you do. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. And thanks for having me, first of all. It's always nice to do nighttime podcasts. I feel like it's a little more it's kind of like watching Spike TV back in the day when you were trying to masturbate to Girls Gone Wild. It's a little relaxing.
It is, man. We do a very late show over here. Usually go 9 to 1, 9 to midnight. So we're pushing.
I don't know if I'll push that, but
oh yeah, no, we'll get you out of here in a timely fashion.
Yeah, man. My name's Ricardo Abdel Aviles. I go by Rico.
Hop out real quick. Hold on. Excuse me.
Yeah. I go by Rico. I'm the host of the show called the Rico Podcast. You can find that everywhere on YouTube. You can find us on Rico Podcast. On TikTok, you can find Rico Podcast. And what we've had a lot of success in is the audio only version of a podcast, which is kind of weird because it's kind of like listening to radio, you know. And we've had a lot of success with it. We've had Tommy Chong a couple times, Mr. Larry Hankin, as you mentioned, Susan Lanier. We've also had Susan Price, which is a Gold Star mother. Her son was one of the guys rescued by Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer. We just actually had her on. And, you know, a plethora of other guests. We were talking before the show, you know, Rolly Delgados, which shout out to Westside MMA up in Arkansas. And, yeah, man, it's pretty much just me sitting down, talking with some friends, having some cigars. Sometimes we have some left-handed cigars, a little bit of booze, and we just talk, man. We just talk whatever they're promoting, whatever they're trying to provide our lovely public with is what I'm interested in trying to push, man. But that's what the Rico Podcast is about. It's my co-host Eric McElroy and I, and every 2 to 3 times a week we record.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this with did it start out with your co-host, or was this your idea and you started to add pieces to the mix?
Cool. So we started together. Me and Eric did this together, and we've been doing it since June 14 of last year. Before we had started podcasting, we'd done a lot of research over the years, and we'd been interviewed in like a couple podcasts here and there, but nothing ever really catch my style. Like a lot of people when they interview, it's like very like, so how did this go? And it's not like Dia de la Muerte. Oh, Dia de los Muertos. That's a nice candle. You fuck with candles?
I do. I fuck with candles and incense heavy. Yes.
Ooh, I'm a Yankee candle kind of guy. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
A Yankee candle and French candles kind of guy. Have you ever had a French candle?
I might not be that much of a candle connoisseur. I have a lot of I do the wood wicks. I love the wood wicks candles. And
I'll send you some pictures.
Okay.
I'll send you some pictures. French candles, they were used back in morgues in the 1800s when they had like the plague and all these diseases coming through that were killing people. They would put the French candles and it would kill the smell of the stench of death. So they're pretty good. Oh. But no, man, it started out just me and him talking. And it was so funny because the first episode we had Giovanni King, who is huge right now. Shout out to G King. He's been on Heart of the City with Kevin Hart. He's been on The Laugh Factory. He's been on The Comedy Store in LA. And he's a good homie of mine. And he was like the first guy we had. And literally like we had him and we had good numbers. And then we had, we just had like a lot of friends and a lot of people that I've done work with over the years. And then we just started asking celebrities and people started saying yes, and then things started going a little crazy, and that was it. Like that was it, man. It went crazy. It went haywire.
Yeah. And
now here we are, a year and some change in, trying to grow it on YouTube, trying to grow it on the Patreon, and trying to grow like the video portion of it. Because the audio portion we do fairly well.
Mm-hmm. I would say, you know, and the few people that we've had on, I'd say that's like where we're doing the reverse roles is, you know, I'm doing the YouTube heavy, trying to get the monetization on there. I do a lot of video editing on the back end. Like, so I make clips of tonight's show, you know, little things you're going to say and different things. I'll make clips, repost those, but we've been lacking on our audio side, and coming the top of the year, we're trying to take it to Spotify and, you know, iHeart, Apple, you know, and all that stuff there. So I don't know if
you have to,
you know, backwards or if there's any right way to do it at all. But
there really isn't a right way. It's just doing it. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like if you post every day or twice a day, in 5 years you'll be surprised where you're at. But that's the thing, is people don't want to stay consistently for years. Mm-hmm. And they don't. Like I remember talking to someone, we've been doing this for a year, and we get like a couple thousand downloads a month, you know, on the audios, and we're huge in Barbados. Huge. We got 19. No, we got like 900 something people in Barbados. It's the second biggest following we have. The biggest following is in town with 1,900 people. And then after that, it's Texas, then New York with like a couple hundred and here and there.
Wow.
But audio, dude, audio, a lot of people, because think about it, a lot of people, when they listen to this, they're not watching it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just playing it in their car, you know? So that's one of the reasons I did that. And then with the TikTok and everything, it's just nice to see the clips to try to, attract people. But I enjoy listening to things. I enjoy reading and listening to things personally. That's the way that I am. I read and enjoy listening. Very seldomly do I like sitting in front of the TV unless I'm playing Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fucking work, man.
Yeah. Me and Ray, we went into this blind, head first. We're going on our year in. We're about 11 months right now. And 9 months of actually doing live shows, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I started with the Zoom, but I didn't know how, Melon, StreamYard, all this stuff. I was just recording and uploading. Then I was like, oh shit, live stream, this and that. But I got a 5-year plan specifically, man. Like, I just turned 35, and I have this vision going forward of where I want to be by the time I'm 40 with.
Yo.
You froze there for a second.
Oh, hold on. Hey.
Yep. Boy froze there for a second.
Yep,
there you are.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you. You got a 5-year plan?
Yeah, 5-year plan, with this in general, like how to cultivate myself and where I want to be by the time I'm 40, but also with this content creation process and podcasting. I
don't look at it like that. I have a very awkward way of looking at things when I do things. I do have like a short-term plan, a long-term plan, and then, stuff like that. But I look at things as, am I going to get bored doing this in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? And that's pretty much how I tackle anything that I kind of like do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, it's just boring. And that's why I have so many things that I do that I've been doing for years now. And now the wisdom and the experience is starting to come. But that's pretty cool that you got at least like a business plan in place. You got to have that. That's the number one problem. A lot of guys, when I talk to, they come talk to me and ask me, he's like, dude, how the fuck do you have sponsors? How do you have this? And I go, well, first of all, like I was already known for other things. So when I did this, it just helped. And then on top of that, like I've been sponsored before. Like right now, we're sponsored by a dispensary called Blue Medicinals, which you'll see that we got a thing, and they're nationwide. We just sponsored with them. We haven't even announced it, actually. now that I'm thinking about that, we haven't made the official announcement. But we got first. Yeah, pretty much. And we're sponsored by Thorne Supplements, which I gotta say, man, I'm a huge supplement guy. Go to your doctor and get blood work and all that. But Thorne Supplements, the Army trusts them and the UFC trusts them, and they're NSF certified and all that crap and whatnot. And I'll tell you what, man, they've been good to us. They've sent care packages. They've supported everything. They like our stuff. So it's a process, man. And people don't understand the business side of things. They're like, I'm podcasting. I'm talking to famous people. Yeah, but how do you monetize that?
Right.
That's the biggest issue.
That is where we're at this current point, is like, because we're going to sit here. I don't mind putting my effort into something for free. I really love doing this. I am passionate about it, having a great time. But at some point, it's like, wait a minute, we can monitor.
Yeah. And the thing is you're also networking. That's what people don't understand. And like when you network, like we've talked to people who are writing books, and I'll just pimp it out like, hey, if you ever need a translator, let me know. And then people look into my background and they're like, holy shit, okay, like, hey, this dude has some wisdom there. So it's always good to try to provide as much value as you can to your people, and I think that people will come. Like that's the biggest thing. And there's obviously tricks of the trade, you know, like you have all these algorithms and shit like that. And, you know, now the big thing is TikTok, and now they're talking about bringing Vines back, which if that happens, then everybody's going to go to Vines and everybody's going to Rumble. So it's like there's always like the next thing that does everything, you know. And that's one of the things that I like, is that it's ever evolving. And so is interviewing people, because interviewing people is not people like see, like when they see my show, for example, people will make comments like, oh, it's just so easy, you just sit down and talk shit. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about the 3-hour prep that I did. Or, hey, if I watched the movie 2 to 3 times. Or, hey, I'm reading cliff notes on a book that this person's doing because they really want to push the book. Or, hey, this person sent me the book and I got 48 hours to read it. Well, shit, I can't read it in 48 hours. Well, hey, we got to find cliff notes. So, plus the other thing is, like, we're at a point now where, like, we'll get a call, like, Rolly Delgado, he showed up to town and he's like, I'm coming in, we're doing a show and we're smoking a cigar. Who the fuck is going to say no to a former UFC champion and now trains TJ Brown? Like, no one in their right fucking mind. So we got him in, we did 2 hours, and like shit like that happens, and it's pretty cool. You know, my wife doesn't think so, but I enjoy the fuck out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of therapeutic, right? You know, doing the podcast, it's new media. It's, you know, yeah.
It'll have its time, but I don't foresee it going away for a very, very long time. What I foresee happening is exactly what happened with people in the past, is the next thing will come, and then everybody will take it to that, and then new opportunities will arise. Because that's the thing that people don't get, is why do you podcast? You know, like, I podcast because I have a lot of cool friends that have a lot of good information that people don't know about. So I put them on my show, and they give good information, good advice. And like, that's just the way that I see it. You know, it's, you got to have a purpose, and you have to be of service. And that's where a lot of people get confused when they start this. I'll give you a statistic. Did you know that over 60% of podcasts don't make it past their first year?
Wow.
I've heard something like that, yeah. And yeah.
Did you know that after that first year, over 40% of people will not continue? And did you know that over 70% of people don't make it to 100 episodes?
Well, we got
to take notes on that one. It's not hard. People just quit. Just quit.
That's something that we speak heavily on this show, is like about consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in this little network that we got going on, you know, lately and everything, we're excited to work with people like yourself, like,
yes,
that are gonna show up, be committed at times of time, you know, because, you know, of course, starting the show, we just depending on friends, we depend on, oh, hey, my friend raps and this so and so, I know this person, and then I'm like, you know, oh, he'll be here, and then it's like, what the fuck, you know, now I'm looking like an asshole.
That's happened to me a couple times, and I normally have a rule, depending on circumstances. If you cancel on me twice, I don't talk to you for 6 months. Like, depending on circumstances. Obviously, there's been circumstances where, hey, I've had to cancel because I've had situations. But
yeah, what was that? You said if you cancel on you twice, or what was the?
If you cancel on me twice for no like good reason, I just won't. I'll schedule you 6 months to a year down the road.
Okay,
that's what I do, because my time is pretty fucking precious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I don't like people look at it as, oh, you know, the big podcaster. It's like, nah, dude, you're not getting it. Like, this is business. Like, no offense, but if you're gonna waste my fucking time, like, just I'm not gonna waste my time. I could be doing other things. I could be hanging out with my kid. I could be, you know, curing cancer, for all you know. So
yeah, it's
like, I hate when people waste time like that, man. It's a big pet peeve of mine. People just, dude, oh God, don't get me started on that.
Rico, how long were you podcasting until you had some monetary sponsors come at your way?
I wouldn't say monetary, because we haven't gotten really paid from our sponsors.
Okay.
So here's what I do, right? I'll share this with you. and with your people. So what I do is I look at like podcasting, right? And we have an LLC and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, okay, well, what do I need to do? Well, the end game is to get licensed. If you can get licensed and you can sell it, then you can make money like that, right? That's pretty hard to do. That's like, you're talking like Joe Rogan level or Tom Segura level or those guys level. But even those guys, right? One of the things that they do is they use their podcasts to jumpstart certain things. So you have to like understand like what is it that you want to make money. Obviously, you want to make multiple streams of income. So what I've done with all these companies is I've been like, listen, I'd just like for you to share us on your email list once a week. Okay, talk about us. I'll promote every single day. I'll post, hashtag Thorn, and then pretty soon next week, Bloom Medicinals. And obviously, if it's not something that I believe in, I don't want your money. You could offer me $1 million, but if I don't like your product or your product is garbage,
right?
It's because, dude, there's people will respect you more. People will respect you a lot more. And while money is a driving factor, it is not the complete driving factor.
Right.
And to me, my goal is to grow my Patreon to 2,000 people at $7 a person. It's $14,000 a month. You look at that, that's money. That's we're in business there. That's a business. You can pay people. You can pay an editor. You can pay your producer. You can buy, have money for better gear. So that's how I look at it. Is I want the Patreon to grow. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, like you have to like really know like what you're aiming for, right? Sponsors money wise normally come when you have thousands of followers. They'll come, they'll come. The sponsors that you want, they'll come. They're paying attention. Right. But it's up to you to realize like, okay, is this something that dude, I always tell people like, listen, look at, if you want to get a sponsor, right? This is what I tell everybody. No matter what you do, take any activity that you do well. Jiu-jitsu, great example. Well, hey, listen, why don't you contact the gi company and say, hey, listen, I like your gis. Could you guys do like a partnership with me where I have a discount code? And people are like, oh, that's garbage or whatever. It's like, yeah, that in the beginning, it might be to you. But to me, it's like, I look at it as when I affiliate myself with a brand, I want to grow and I want to help that brand. So to me, like with Thorn, I'd like to eventually sell enough products that they go, okay, cool. Well, we'd like for you to, be the face, or not even the face, just be a little bit heavily more associated with this, which it'll open more doors with the UFC, which then it'll open more doors to get better guests on the podcast, which, dude, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. Who knows what happened? And then I'm a bilingual guy. So it's like, you don't know the opportunities that'll come with the set of skills that you have. Right. But that's how we do with that. In regards to time, I mean, I think 5 months in, we had Thorn because I was using their stuff and I just messaged them, and I'm pretty good at hooking people and getting my point across, but I normally have a good feel for it, and I just shoot my shot, and they were like 24 hours later, like, yeah, we love what you're doing. And that gave us access to Dan Gardner, which shout out to Dan Gardner. He's Sean O'Malley's nutritionist. And that dude is the wealth of knowledge that gentleman has is ridiculous. So that's how we've done. But monetization wise, man, not a dime yet, my man. It takes time.
Right. I mean, what I see is that these this new media, this is the best way to promote anything. I mean, I've been in business and marketing and promotions throughout my career, about 30 years. And print, radio, TV. I mean, this is the most effective and the cheapest way to promote, because you're actually hearing it from your user's mouth, how they feel about your products. I mean, that's priceless, That's super. And
not only that, but, man, you just need 1,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
People got this shit confused where you need 1 million followers and like
I'm under that.
1,000 people.
A 1,000 loyal, dedicated people that fuck with. And I tell Ray all the time, you know, if we have one or two now, there's no all it takes is more people hearing about us. And there's like, man, there's 2 people in this state, 2 people, you know.
Yeah, and like that's how you gotta look at it too. And like the other thing is you know, numbers don't lie. If you're not getting traction given enough time, then you probably need to assess what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I tell people, man, there's this weird thing. Like Gary Vee says this a lot. It's like, man, when you start doing what you love, like shit just naturally happens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I've discovered in my life. When I started doing shit that I really wanted and that I loved, like shit started like growing way faster. Right. It takes time. It takes time. Yeah. It takes a lot of losses.
Like you said, consistency, and a lot of patience, right?
Yep. Why does the water break through the mountain? Because it hits it fucking consistently every day, nonstop.
Consistently.
Eventually, you'll break through. You know what I'm saying? It's and that's a jiu-jitsu analogy too. Is like if you're consistent enough, you'll consistently see progress. You know, consistency is key.
Yeah. Right.
But most people don't believe that, man. Proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding. You know?
We are actually definitely witnessing that one. But we stand on guard. Like I just transitioned to Reno, and so I got people in, you know, it's just right across the Sierras, and I got people I need to see. I haven't seen them in a decade, and I got people I can see in California, Northern California. But because we do this show every Thursday, and I got a new setup here in Reno, I'm like, yeah, I can bring my stuff over there, but no, I gotta do this tonight. You know, I gotta do this tonight, and so we stay consistent. That's the name of the game.
And the problem with that is that people don't understand it either.
Yeah.
You're gonna be one misunderstood motherfucker. Because I'll tell people, they're like, oh my God, you do podcasts. Everybody does it. Joe Rogan does that. This does that. I'm like, okay, cool. If there's a saturated market, what that tells me is that there's money to be made, or there's an interest to be made. You just have to find where you fit in. Like I hear everybody all the time. It's like, oh, I want to be like one of the comedians. He calls me like the Puerto Rican Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I fucking hate that, because I told him, I was like, that's so disrespectful to Joe Rogan. Like, I look like Joe Rogan if he was a fat Puerto Rican with an anime porn addiction. Like, maybe then. But, you know, it's just one of those things that people just say. So you have to, like, really, like, sometimes just ignore those people and be like, oh, bless your heart, you know? Because everybody's always got to, like, I remember when I told people I wanted to be a fucking interpreter when I was 16. And now here we are, fucking, you know, 15 plus years later, and I'm fucking rocking it, and everybody's like, oh my God, I always knew. Shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. Don't lie to me. Just be honest, you know? Be honest. That's all I ask for. But it happens, man.
You know, you kind of hit it right there. I was going to segue and ask you kind of about how did you get on the start? You know, talk about your upbringing, you know, in high school, what kind of kid, you know, were you, and what led you?
Man. Well, shit, where do you want me to start out of all that?
Let's say, you know, let's start, you know, 15, you know, 10th grade, you know, kind of, you know, where you were, or freshman year, you know, kind of like the path.
I grew up in Puerto Rico. Like in the island. I was born, raised, and educated, and I left in 2008 to join the Army. My high school years were really cool. Growing up in Puerto Rico was really weird and different because my father was a cop, and he was a pretty well-known cop. So it's really difficult when everybody knows your fucking last name, and they know your mom, and they know your dad, and it's like you can't really get away with shit. So my high school years were really cool because I went to what's called a business professionalism high school, which you guys in the States call it something else, where basically it's like a business high school. You learn about business, you learn about, and you leave with like a certain degree or skill. So I left with a data entry clerk certification.
That's smart. They should have that here.
Yeah. And then what I did was I went to a group, which was FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America. Mm-hmm. And I went in there to compete in improvised oratory, which basically what it is they give you something, like they say, why does Harris love this and this and this and this, elaborate. And then you have 5 minutes to come up, 2 minutes, to come up with a 5-minute speech about whatever subject they gave you. And I was pretty good at it because my brain, I can naturally switch from English to Spanish. So to me, when I have a thought process, like I can switch it and then I can just write it pretty well, which that's the hallmark of a good interpreter, which I didn't know at the time. And I had a teacher who was really hot. And she like taught me how to like interpret and whatnot, how to translate and what all that means.
In Puerto Rico, Puerto Rican hot teacher?
While I was in Puerto Rico.
Oh God, I can only imagine. You lucky son of a bitch.
What do you mean?
Your hot ass Puerto Rican teacher. Oh my Lord.
Oh well, she was. How do I say this? She was one of those people that was very religious and like didn't believe in getting married or anything. And I was just.
They're the ones that are the hottest, man.
I remember looking at her one day and I was like, I like walked by her and obviously I was respectful, like I was pretty mischievous, but I try to be respectful. And she like walked by and she goes, "What are you doing? Why are you out here?" And I just didn't know what to say. And I was like, I gotta go pee. And I was like out in the middle of the highway walking towards my parents' job. And she tried to give me a ride. And I was like, nah, no, thank you. Like I never took a ride with her. Which in retrospect, I probably should have. Maybe I could have showed her my wiener or something. Maybe be a different situation. But no, on a serious note, that teacher was really cool. And she actually showed me how to be a good interpreter. And I left high school. And, after many decisions, I ended up joining the Army as an MP. Mm-hmm. And that was, joining the Army was an experience in itself. But being in high school, man, I was real chill. I didn't really bother too much. I had too many things going on. And I was like a real nerdy kid. So I was like into Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that. But I was like into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like we were going to tournaments, winning, making money, flipping cards, selling cards. So we always had money. And we had like a little monopoly. Like we knew if we won a tournament, they give you a booster pack, has 400 cards. The probability of you flipping those cards and making double of what the booster is worth was high. So we would go into tournaments and buddies and like no one would know. And then if you and I met in the finals, it'd be like, all right, let's see who the fuck wins. And we'd really try to go at it, Right. So I was always pretty like industrious, I'd like to say, or like pretty much like a paper chaser, I guess.
Right.
But that was pretty much my days, man, in Puerto Rico.
It's interesting because, you said, you're into business and you're also bilingual, and like yourself, I love business. I mean, I ran nonprofit. I mean, I run a for-profit and nonprofit. I have a embellishment company in Hawaii, and now here it is. I'm in Reno. I'm helping run this nonprofit, but I'm also bilingual, and I recommend that everybody learn how to speak another language. Man, it's the coolest.
What's your secondary?
I'm Filipino. I'm Tagalog. And so it's basically Tagalog is mixture of Spanish and
no, I know what Tagalog. Yeah, I know what Tagalog is. Tagalog's it's called an exotic language. It's considered an exotic language.
Oh, really?
Within So when you're talking about interpreting, there's like daily languages, right? Mm-hmm. There's like rare languages. There's exotic languages, and then there's like dead languages. So when you talk about like that, to me, the highest of interpreters are like religious interpreters. Like those are linguists. Those are people that they go through the Vatican. They learn Latin. They learn all these languages because they're deciphering scrolls and all this
Greek.
other stuff.
Yeah,
Greek, Hangul,
I've
'cause I
never
lived
heard of
in
that.
Korea.
Hangul. Okay.
Hangul. I believe Hangul is what they talk in Korea.
Oh,
저요,
South Korea.
남으세요, 난다. Yeah, like so, like that. Which is it's awesome.
Oh,
And
interesting.
Then,
My business partners in Hawaii are South Korean, so yeah, okay.
Oh, South Korea, bro. Those people know
They're
how to
South
party.
Korean.
They know how to party.
Oh yeah.
Those people know how to fucking party. They know how to drink too. Like
Oh, they
I
drink
thought,
a lot. Yeah.
I thought Puerto Rican people drank and black people drank. Nah, my man. South Korean people can fucking throw down when it comes to drinking.
I also found that out because my wife is half Native. My wife is half Native American. In fact, my good friend here is Native American and half Native American, and I thought they drank a lot. No, you're right. South Koreans.
Yeah, South Koreans can throw down, dude.
They
Their
can't.
country is. You ever been to South Korea? Any of you?
I've never been to South Korea.
Should take a flight from Hawaii. It should be cheap if you fly out of.
Well, I'm in Reno now, but yeah, it's about what.
Yeah, if you fly out of Reno, that's like 21 hours.
Yeah,
well, no,
yeah,
because you got to stop in Cali.
Yeah.
You customs. You got to stop. Yeah.
The only thing I know is that Seoul, South Korea, whatever the capital.
Seoul, yeah,
Seoul is the capital. Yeah.
Seoul,
You have capital near Itaewon.
I work with a couple Koreans, and they're from there, and they say though it's like beautiful. The streets are like clean though. It's just at least certain parts.
That's where you go.
Right. But like it's
heavy militarized, very militarized.
Wow.
Like there are certain parts where we were allowed to go when I was in the SRT to do training. That there's parts in Seoul that it's like, do not cross this mountain. There's landmines everywhere. And
there's really? From World War? Yeah, from 1950.
Fucking, bro, from fucking you name it. There's old ass like mountains. I'm talking about mountains. Covered in fucking landmines.
I heard it's the same thing in Vietnam too. In Cambodia, they got landmines from the Vietnam War and everything. Yeah.
Fuck, that wouldn't surprise me.
That's dangerous, man. Yeah,
you know how shitty that is though. Like if you really think about it, because think about how much real estate. Like I always tell the joke that if North Korea and South Korea ever united as one again, and they demilitarize, which would take years, obviously, to demilitarize everything and the accidents that would happen. There's always casualties, but if they did that and then everybody like heavily invested in South Korea, the won would outweigh the dollar, I believe. And I could be wrong. I'm not a fucking Wall Street guy, but I've been in Korea, man, and I've seen how much is demilitarized. And
I'm amazed. South Koreans are just natural businessmen. They're just and their work ethic is unreal.
Yeah, dude. I remember when I was in Korea, we have what's called Katusas. Katusa is a Korean augmentee to United States Army. It's basically they have to serve 25 months in the military, and they would rather, if they speak English, they would rather serve it with the Army or the Marines or somebody, because they're gonna get treated like fucking shit in the ROK Army, Republic of Korea.
The ROK,
Army.
the ROK,
because everybody has to serve 25 months. Everybody has to serve 25 months.
Everyone had to serve 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, if we had that in the U.S., man, oh my gosh, you have to.
I don't think it would work. I
Yeah?
don't think it would work, and it would really kill the quality of soldiers and Marines and sailors, because that's the number one thing. Like I remember when I went in 2008 at a time of war, and I saw a lot of people try to go in, and just when I saw like how many people didn't make it through MEPS, like we had like 50 something people and only 12 of us. I was like, what the fuck? Like, dude, small things. Oh, your eye twitch weird, or like, this is back in 07, 08, 09. Yeah, it was really difficult to come in. Now they've lowered the standards to where if you're overweight, you can go in and you have a entry delayed program. The standards have just changed, man, because it's a different kind of environment. And obviously, you still have your special operations, which your tier 2, your tier 1 guys. You have, your support roles. And I tell everybody, man, I always tell everybody, like, if you don't have anything that you're doing and you're okay with understanding that you are government property for a few years, join the Army. Go get you a skill. Yeah. Don't talk to your recruiter. Go talk to a fucking veteran. Shit, go talk to me. Hit me up on Facebook. We got 2 guys in our gym that are joining, and dude, we give those guys fucking hell. Like one of them's joining active duty as an MP, and I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do when you got to fight somebody bigger than me? What are you gonna do? You better figure it the fuck out. So
yeah,
it's real, man.
Yeah, and those drunken soldiers, man. You got
what
in
are you
Hawaii.
talking about?
In Hawaii is Hawaii, all five departments in the military is there. In fact,
Yes.
I used to live in Mililani, and everyone, but it's kind of like it's cool. But I was like, wow, this is the base and everything. They got the best stuff. However, I've been to Guam, and Guam looks like one big military base. Have you ever been to Guam?
Never been to Guam.
Hella
I've heard
hot.
of Honolulu. I've heard of Honolulu. Really, like dry hot or like humid hot?
No, it's humid hot. Because I remember
Puerto
when I was
Rico.
I don't know. Well, yeah, because like the West Indies is it's hot and there's no trade winds.
Yep. There's no
So it's
same in Puerto
humid
Rico.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and then the shitty part of Puerto Rico is, get this, there's no central AC in houses.
ooh,
But man, that's why when I tell people, that's why when I hear people complaining, like, listen, I remember the first time, and we were like a middle class family. Don't get me wrong, we were a middle class family. I remember the first time when I joined the Army, someone was like, all right, man, here's your room. You got to sign for it. This is your bathroom. This is your roommate. Here's your dishwasher. Here's this. And I'm like, I got an AC in my room. That was like the first thing. Like, I'm rich, bitch. Like, I got an AC in my house. Bro, fuck. You know how hot it gets in fucking Puerto Rico, bro?
Oh,
And you
is
got
it
the
like
fucking salt hitting you and the fucking air from the
gosh.
Atlantic.
I know how
sucks.
that feels.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's why you see like 14 and 15-year-old chicks with 2 kids, because they're like, oh, God, you got AC in that car? I'll suck your dick in that car.
Oh,
Like
wow.
100%, bro. They'll put out. And I mean that in like
Wow.
the funniest way, because I said that one time and someone's like, you out here banging 15-year-olds? I go, no, that's a joke, because I grew up with that. I knew a chick that was 15 that had 2 kids already.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, bro, like in shock.
Right.
Wild to me. No central AC in Puerto Rico.
No central AC. Okay, that's good
Nah,
to know.
man.
It's
That's
like
why- that's
it's
why
like
Puerto
West
Rico's
Florida
like-
hot.
It's yeah. Yeah. And
It gets
except for
wild.
like obvious like your resorts, like you have to go stay at a decent hotel.
Oh, yeah.
The only place outside of the U.S. I've been to was I went to Guadalajara last year and fucking went all around out to fucking the Chapo Mountains and shit. My boy lives out in fucking Rancho Nueve, way the fuck out there in the La Sierra somewhere. God
That's
damn.
funny.
Wow.
Yeah, but you'd fit in. You'd fit in. You good. You got the complexion. Me, I'm a little white until they hear me talking Spanish, and then they go, "Oh yeah, wait, like what the fuck?" I'll tell you this. You were talking about Guadalajara and stuff like that. I got a friend who used to be a client of mine. Excuse me. He hired me, and this is probably like the wildest story I have as an interpreter. I'll tell it to your people. He hired me and paid him like my daily rate to basically be his interpreter while he was in Costa Rica. And what it was is basically he pays me my rate, phone rings, his wife is out somewhere, and I pretty much go and I talk, not for them, but I'm able to communicate, right?
Right.
And that night, I hit a call from an AUSA for the alphabet people, and the 3-letter alphabet people. I'm sorry, and
Not the 26 letter. Okay, just think.
no. That's a Dave Chappelle joke. Actually, I said that, and I was like, oh, that's a Dave Chappelle joke. Let me not say that.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, we need you to interpret for this dude. He's a sicario. He just came across the border. We got his paperwork, and he's got some stuff that we need to talk to him. So I go, yeah, that's fine, no problem. They put me on this little camera thing, and I'm interpreting, and the dude's like, all fucked up. Like you can see his ribs, like it's pretty bad.
Wow.
And the dude's just naming people. He's like, I work for whatever the fuck it was, mafia, and I'm like, da. And then my other phone rings, and it's my buddy. And we're gonna call him Ray Ray. We're gonna call that client Ray Ray.
Okay.
And Ray calls me drunk and he says, I'm drunk in Costa Rica. I'm at my hotel. They won't give me a taxi. I want to go get a tattoo. So I kind of just look at Ray and I go, I don't think that's a good idea. But then deep down, like an evil side of me was like, this will make a great story on a podcast. So I get Ray directions by the front desk guy, and the guy goes, just walk in that direction and you'll find it. And I go, Ray, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, there's not a lot of human trafficking in Costa Rica, but let's not run the odds. He goes, I'll call you back, and he hangs up. Then the AUSA calls me, and we're talking with this guy who was an assassin, or sicario. And he goes, this is great information. He's like, thank you so much, Mr. Aviles. And I go, I got a question. He goes, yeah. I was like, how the fuck did that guy cross the border? And why is he all fucked up? And they were like, that's a good question. So they go back in, and we ask him. Ray calls me while I'm in there. And I'm like, Ray, I need a minute. He goes, I'm at the place. I need you to tell the guy that I only got $150 and I want 3 tattoos. I'm like, God damn it, Ray. I go, Ray, give me a minute. And I hear him arguing with the guy. And the guy's like, no, senor, no bueno. I'm like, oh my God. So turns out this guy, they try to kill him, the sicario. Going back to that, they try to kill him and he escaped and he walked 127 miles.
Oh my God.
3 days. In 3 days. And when we asked him how he did that in 3 days, he said, well, when I escaped, I grabbed a bag of water and an 1/8 key of Coke that I had. And I would just walk, and every time I get a little tired, I just do a little bump. And then I keep walking. Bro, that motherfucker lost 63 pounds in 3 days. You understand that dude almost killed himself?
What? Being a former, user myself, I'm trying to process that, bro. Holy shit.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know if he went through the 1/8. All I know is that he walked 100+ miles in 3 days. My man, let me tell you something. That's motivation right there to not get killed. So then I let that go, and then I go back to Ray, and I'm trying to like convince him, like, dude, this is not a good idea. And the guy's getting agitated because I'm on FaceTime. And I break connection. As an interpreter, you never want to be involved. You basically, what he said, I say. What she said, I said. What they said, I said. That's it. Doesn't matter what the fuck they said. I'm gonna give you the closest translation to the message that they are giving me, right? And I tell Ray, I go, give the tattoo artist the phone, because I could hear him like getting agitated. And I go, my friend, listen, this man is very popular here in the U.S. He goes, man, he's fucking annoying. He wants 3 tattoos for $150. I go, well, how about 2 tattoos for $150? He goes, you know what? I could do that. So my boy gives him the money. He goes, you told him I got $150. I go, shut the fuck up. Give him the money. Sit on the chair. He goes, tell him that I brought my credit card and I'm going to go get beers for everybody. After we just told this motherfucker that we don't have any more money. So he goes and he gets the tattoo. And he doesn't talk to me for like 2 days, which, by the way, I was there translating what he wanted on the tattoos, and they came out great. But this motherfucker did not remember any of that. And when I sent him the bill, because it was after hours, so I sent him the fucking bill. He goes, what the fuck you charging me $1,000 for? And I was like, bro, for the tattoos. He goes, what fucking tattoos? This motherfucker got the tattoo on the back of his neck and on his foot, and he forgot about it.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
That is definitely a podcast topic.
Bro, that's fucking wild. You understand how crazy that is? I'm dealing with an assassin that took an 1/8 of Coke and made it 100+ miles, and I'm dealing with a dumbass that got 2 tattoos in a foreign country for $150. Like, you cannot make that shit up as an interpreter, bro. That's the type of shit that interpreters will run into. Or you'll get a guy that wants to get laid and he wants you to translate text messages back and forth on Tinder. Had that happen also, by the way.
Wow. What about if you deal with, you're interpreting and I don't know, this came to my mind. It's like, okay, so you're interpreting and the guy's saying, but they're going, no, I want you to say it in another way. That's not the way exactly what they're saying.
Lo voy a decir de esa manera. Eso es lo que no estás diciendo. Lo quiero que lo digas así. I would just interpret what they're saying. It doesn't matter. because I'm not there to be a facilitator. Like let's play this role, right? You're talking to him and I'm talking to him, right? So we would do what's called, you could do simultaneous or you can do consecutive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Simultaneous is as you talk, I talk, and I'll probably whisper in his ear. And then when he talks, I'll talk at the same time, but I'll talk a little higher than he does, so you only hear my voice. And that can also be called whisper interpreting, which is what I like to do, because you have to be there has to be a delay of at least less than 3 seconds. So like as you're talking, I have to be less than 3 seconds behind you. What happens when you look at an MRI, because they've done this study, of what happens when someone's interpreting, the whole brain lights up. Your whole brain lights up because you're listening, you're processing, you're changing, and then you're analyzing what you're saying, and then you're talking. So that's why you can't do it for too long. So here's a little trick that I tell my interpreters is if you're interpreting in a deposition setting, like I'm sitting here and the person's here, I'm like this and I close my eyes. Close my eyes because now that part is not being utilized. So I have more RAM up here.
Yeah, right.
I have more focus. So that's the thing with interpreting is like there's levels to that shit, you know? And it's not really hard to be an interpreter. Like the rules are pretty set in stone as to what you can and cannot do. Like don't give advice. You are not there to give advice. No one can talk to you. Like no one can fucking talk to you. Like if someone talks to you in Spanish and there's people that know English, you just interpret what they said, or you make a clarification and you say, hey, please don't address the interpreter personally, address the other people. The interpreter should not be addressed. And I'll say it just like that. Every now and then you get people who want to challenge you, though. That's happened.
Right.
That doesn't end well, by the way.
When you speak in Spanish, is it kind of like a dialect? Because, like, okay, well, first of all, me being Filipino, one of the things that I just want to share this with you, when I came to the U.S., I'm an immigrant here, came here in 1978. I was 10 years old. And my fellow Filipinos used to want to fight me because they called me a fob, fresh off the boat. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Fresh off the boat? I'm from Manila, man. I went to private school and all that, and I speak another language. And the people that would make fun of me were predominantly like Filipinos from Hawaii or San Diego because of military.
I don't really have that.
And they made fun of me because of my fucking accent. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, I speak.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't really have that problem.
That's I mean, is speaking Spanish, because in the Philippines we have so many dialects. I don't speak Visayan or Ilocano. I speak Tagalog, which is Luzon area. But also another thing,
the northern region.
We're like northern region.
Yeah, northern. Yeah. See, I know my Tagalog. I got a Tagalog interpreter. I know my guys. Yeah, I know my guys and gals.
And so another thing too, at the home, and I'm very impressed with Latino families. I mean, I don't know what the politically correct called Spanish Latino family. What is
whatever the fuck you want to call them. I don't give a fuck. And if someone has an issue with it, you send them my way. Hispanic, Latino. So Hispanic means Hispano. Latino is normally considered like Latin countries, right? Caribbean is considered like the Caribbean people. And that's actually a really good question. Most people don't ask that question. When it comes to dialects, you have to be real careful.
Right.
You have to be real fucking careful, right? Because dialects in Spanish is kind of like dialects in English. Like you got English, and then you got Australian, then you got British English, and then you got Northern British, you got Eastern British, you got
Cockney English. Yeah,
exactly. So you got to be careful. And like one of the things that I specialize in over the years is I just take the cultural aspect of it in. And over the years, I would always sit down with like my other fellow Spanish interpreters and we'd share. Mm-hmm. Like in Mexico, you have to be careful with how you ask for a piece of cake, because torta in Mexico means cake. Bizcocho in Puerto Rico means cake. Bizcocho in Mexico means female genitalia.
Wow.
And you have to be real fucking careful.
So, in other words, in Tagalog, puto is rice cake.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, here's some puto. Make some puto. Yeah. However,
I don't think puto's a good word in Spanish.
Yeah, no, puto
Yeah,
is made
puto's a
out.
man whore.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah,
puto
it's,
is some type of rice cake, and
that's interesting.
it's good with coconut shavings, by the way. However, this is what I was gonna say was that in a lot of Spanish speaking homes, the kids know how to speak Spanish, and a lot of Filipino homes,
Mm.
a lot of the kids may understand. Both parents speaks Tagalog, but the kids only understands but not speak it, and I don't get that. I'm going, wait a minute.
That's because that's the parents' fault.
Yeah,
That's the parents' fault. Like in
yeah, I
my
heard
house,
like
my kid in my house, you will learn another language. That's not a fucking negotiation in my house, because when you learn another language, it opens up new neural pathways that can only be opened if you have another language skill.
that's the same with my kid. Well, my wife is like she's half Filipino, half Native American. Her mom is Filipino from Hawaii, but she's been like 3 generations, so they don't speak the language.
No,
And
I speak it
so
in my house.
yeah, and so for me, the way I speak Tagalog to my kids is like, look, when I'm mad, I'm just gonna speak it to you, and you just figure it out. Like you'll just figure it out, you know?
Yeah, no, I see what you mean, but that's the parents' fault. Because like in my house, I have days where I talk to my kid in Spanish. I have days where I talk to her in English, right? For example, let's say we're doing the alphabet. I have a set of cards, like, play cards that is in English, and then I have some that's in Spanish. Because obviously, I can't say, what's the V for? Oh, vampire. Okay, well, how do you say vampire? Well, vampiro. Oh, okay, well, that's a great example. But then you start getting into other words, like oranges. Well, oranges has like 3 things. It could be china, it could be naranja, it could be there's like a million other things you can do. So that's when you have to like really be careful with it. But man, the thing is people normally don't want to teach their kids another language, and kids don't want to learn it because they're like, oh, nobody speaks it. Don't give a fuck. You're not understanding. You're thinking big fish, small pond. I'm thinking huge pond, tiny fish that can communicate with 37% extra the population that a non-bilingual person can talk to. Not only that, you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, that's why I'm kind of glad that my parents, basically said, "Hey, if you don't want to speak, at home, just so that way English will get better, we're okay with that." But I'm like, "No, mom, fuck that," because these motherfuckers try to pick on me because I have an accent. Hell no. So I told myself, you know what? I will never forget my language, and to write it either.
The accent thing is kind of dumb. That's just
it's sexy now, but back then in the 70s, it was like. Ew,
yeah, when I first got here, when I would drink or go to a party and I'd get drunk, my Spanish would come out a little bit and people would make fun of me. And I was just like, man, fuck you. Like, I know every word that you probably know, I know it in 2 other languges.
Right.
So
right.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't, the accent thing. There's little things that don't bother me. Like I've had people ask me, where's my green card? Because they've seen my Puerto Rican birth certificate. I've been asked that in court if I had a green card to a K1 or what was it? Not a K1. K1's the marriage one. If I had like a work visa. And I started laughing, and one time I told an attorney, I go, "Oh, I left it in my country, but I'll just reapply. Don't worry about it." And they got all bartered. We're gonna call TSA and not TSA, immigration. I'm like, wow, you people are really dumb. There's a lot of ignorance, man, when it comes to other countries.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that Puerto Ricans have dual citizenship and have their territory. Most people don't know.
Puerto Rico's like what, Commonwealth of the U.S.
Commonwealth, right? Yeah. Estado Libre Asociado is the.
And there was a time in Philippines with the Commonwealth of the Philippines. I mean, of the U.S.
Yeah, but Puerto Rico just gets they get the big green weenie. If for my military people, they get fucked a lot, man. And unfortunately, the level of corruption is so rampant that they're now starting to catch up with it. And it's so far gone that Puerto Rico's just, if you have money and you go down there to start a business, go down there. A lot of people leave the moment that hurricane season comes because they're not used to it. Like, it's just the way it is, man. Hurricanes are gonna come. I lived through George. Like, I remember when George rolled through.
Oh yeah, that hit Puerto Rico pretty hard. Yeah.
George, bro, we didn't have power for a while.
Wow.
And I remember, like,
Once,
I
right?
saw the what?
Or you say when you're a little kid, right? Because I know just recently,
yeah.
they had like 6 months or some crazy shit without power.
Maria hit them, but that was a Category 1, you know. And like the thing is, man, is that there's still a lot of people that live in rural areas, and they just don't. I don't know what it is. If it's they either don't have enough resources to help people, or if the government's just taking the money, which you know. If you throw a rock on Google and type in Puerto Rico political corruption, you'll find a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff that you'll be like, how does this fly? And it'll pop up on the news too, and no one will do anything about it. Not a fucking thing, bro.
Man.
But we'll complain about gringos.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
One of the things, I know it's later, but we'll get you out here in just a minute, man. You go for a few more questions, and then
No, I got time. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What would you recommend somebody doing this day and time? Downloading an app, Rosetta Stone, this and that, learning another language on their own, or are we still better off, looking for a local tutor, somebody in person, that can actually teach us the language?
That's a really good question. That depends on a lot of things. Number one, it's going to depend on how much money you have. Number two, it's going to depend on how much time you have. Number three, it's going to depend on why you want to learn it, right? Like I've been learning Portuguese for 5 years. And one of the things that I can tell you is that you'll reach a level where you have enough understanding that you can just grab a dictionary and start going through things, Like that's one thing I do is every morning. It's so funny because I'll show you this. You'll laugh. Every morning I have like all these notes that I take about. I try to pick 5 words that I don't know, and then I try to use them in a phrase. I find the definition. I find it in English and in Portuguese. I do that every day. That's one way to do it. It's a very hard way.
Wow.
It's a very hard way to do it. But if you like languages and you like that shit, then that's for you. It really depends on how you learn, right? Because people learn 3 ways. They learn by reading, by doing, watching, right? Listening could be one of them. But obviously you have to listen for any one of those 3 in order for you to fucking do it. Because you would have to listen. So that's why I never say listening. And that's going to depend on a lot of things. What I normally tell people is you should find yourself a tutor and just try a language for a year. Just find that person and say, how much I got to pay you for you to teach me for a year, And normally they'll give you a price, And then you got to set up times every week, and you have to do it daily. Like when I teach someone, I give them daily tasks, right? Because if you take 30 minutes out of your day to do something, and you do that for 10 years or 5 years or a year, I think you'd be surprised how much better off you'll be.
Right.
The thing is people don't have the patience because they get so overwhelmed with dialect and, my friend told me this. Well, so-and-so. Fuck whatever people say. Just take it day by day, man. Take it day by day. There's word in English that people don't fucking know.
Do you naturally, Rico, like, what they call soft tongue? It's like, do you naturally catch on to pronunciations and, like the way, languages are? Is that easy for you?
Yeah. It's
There's
really
a word
easy,
for that. Diodactic. That's what it's named. Diodactic. So you're probably a diodactic. And one of the things that I contribute to the show is that I'm biblical, and I like to contribute everything to the word. Now in the Bible, we have nine gifts that we all have. Not all of us have the 9 gifts at once, but some of us specialize in others. And the last 8 and 9 is what they call in the Bible tongues is actually languages. So, what did they say? They have one where you can speak. There's a gift where you can actually speak different tongues, and then there's another one called interpreter of tongues. So, my brother, you probably have that. So you got the 9 spirits. Yeah.
Probably.
I want to just share that with you.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never heard someone say like that. I've always, even when I listen to another language, like when I hang out with my interpreters, like my Japanese interpreters, he'll start saying something, and I'll be like, "Nani?" He's like,
"Yeah."
He's like, "Stop!" Like, what the fuck? And when I go to the Korean place, I'll talk a little bit of Korean with them because I still remember like some things.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. 좋습니다. 저기요, 안녕하세요. So like, little things like that. And then, it's always cool to like understand languages. And the other thing, man, is like, dude, when you go somewhere and do that, people think it's disrespectful. Let me tell you something, man. No. There ain't nothing fucking better when you go somewhere and someone's like, boricua, or 저기요, or like, I forget how you say it in Tangali. My homie. How you say it in Tangali?
In
my homie. Yeah, Tagalog.
Parico.
Yeah. Parico. Yeah, Parico is like Parico. Yeah. It's like like things like that. Like
that's kind of like with Samoans. It's kind of like usu. Usu is my brother.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. It's like in Arabic, in Middle Eastern countries, is Habibi.
Habibi.
Like Habibi. We would hear the terrorists say that a lot. Habibi, my friend.
I gotta tell you, that's crazy with languages. It's funny we're talking about languages today. Mm-hmm. I sold a lot of. I sold everything pretty much. I was selling cars, General Motor cars, and there's this Palestinian guy, and the way he came in there was like he's kind of like aloof, All right, they're gonna talk. They're gonna con me into buying this car. And one word I said, Rico. I said, "Oh, Palestinian, huh? Okay, marhaba." Bought the car, cash.
Nice.
Bought
I always
the car
tell people
it's
amazing. It's amazing what you can do when you know another language. Because, dude, like it's like with me, right? Like the reason why I say interpreters have way more power than people care to know is because think about it this, right? What do you think happens when a president goes to talk to someone else in another country? The president's got his own motherfucking interpreter. You know what I'm saying? You might not see that motherfucker because he's a ninja. That's where I got the whole thing about language ninja, was because I love being an interpreter. Because I love to talk, but I don't like people to fucking talk back to me. Especially when it's like really stressful things. I just want to do my job and get out. Don't fucking bother me.
Right.
And one of the beautiful things about an interpreter is like when I show up, dude, like people just, oh my God, thanks, sweet baby Jesus, you're here,
Yeah.
Or a lot of times, people go, oh, you're here. Now they're going to know what I'm saying, And that's happened a lot, I get that a lot where I'll tell you a funny story. I was in Korea and we were walking downtown doing town patrol with the KMP, and these 2 Puerto Rican dudes started talking. And they were outside. They were outside a base, and we had a curfew in Korea. And if we caught you outside of curfew, bro, like I can't save you. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to take you in. Like you're outside of curfew. Yeah, dude. Well, it was a bunch of people that ruined it. We had curfew because a lot of dudes were like out raping people and they were doing dumb shit. And the general was like, "Fuck y'all, you're gonna have a curfew." And I caught these 2 guys with hookers. And one of them says in Spanish, "Nah, bro, we'll just tell them we're Puerto Rican. What are the odds that they'll know?" And little did they fucking know. Like, I turned around and I was like, "Yo, let me see your ID." He goes, "¿Qué? ¿Cómo?" And my name literally says Aviles, hyphenated. And I kind of just looked at my name and I looked at the guys and no te entiendo. And I was like, I just like looked at my lieutenant and then I said in Spanish, "Give me your fucking ID." And then they gave me their ID and they're like, "No, man, play it cool." And I'm like, I'm interpreting what they're saying because that's my fucking job. And the lieutenant's like, "Dude, just shut up." He's like telling the guys, "Just shut the fuck up." And then the other guy says, he's like, man, we already paid for these hookers. So me as the interpreter, I'm like, nah, you already paid for the hookers. And the lieutenant's like, oh my God, dude, just shut the fuck up. And he's like, he keeps saying
brother,
shit,
I can relate.
Yeah,
like, I can relate. I'm like talking to my own people, right? And I'm talking to them in Tagalog, right? And they're like, oh, are you Filipino? Like, because they think I'm Chinese, bro. Oh, so I feel your pain, bro. I mean,
yeah,
I'm
everybody
Filipino
thinks.
I got Chinese blood, obviously. Shit, look at me. I mean,
yeah. Well, but that's the thing. It's like when people see me and they see how white I am, and then they're like, "Man, you're like the whitest Puerto Rican I've ever met." And
man,
it just,
you know what's interesting? Puerto Ricans, you can have a cousin, first cousin, that's like as white as you, and the other one looks like black, dark, but completely blood related.
I'll give you one that you probably didn't know about. You know, there's a large population of Chinese Puerto Ricans.
Oh yeah, and that's why when I went to salsa club, I mean, okay, I won't say let's say Puerto Ricans, and also in Latin America there is a Latin group called what's it? El something de la Luz. They're Japanese, and hot salsa club. El something de la Luz. Oh my gosh. Oh, Orquestra de la Luz. Check it out. Orquestra de la Luz. Japanese.
Orquestra de la Luz. Yeah. I know who that is.
Yeah.
I know who that is.
Bad.
Yeah, I like the one that they have, salsa caliente del Japón, which means hot salsa out of Japan.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know who that is. They dude, it's a huge I always tell people, man, like culture is culture, you know, and like the way that Puerto Rican culture is like we give each other a lot of shit. Like, dude, I remember we had a friend of ours that his mom was Chinese, his dad was Puerto Rican. This dude was brown with slanted eyes, and we would call him Chino. That was his nickname, Chino, which means Chinese.
Yep.
And I told that to someone on a podcast, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so racist." I'm like, "How is that racist?" Like, that's like calling me brown. Yeah. Like, how is that racist? Like, that's I'm a brown person. Yeah.
If you're a Filipino, you will be mestizo.
Mestizo. Yeah.
Mestizo. So it's like, and me, I'm kind of Chinese. I'm chinito.
A chinito. Yeah. So that's the thing, man. Is like people don't understand those things, and you
And Dakota, Harris is gonna be mulatto.
Morenito. That's what we call him. That would be Morenito. Morenito. Yeah. Moreno.
Like a lighter version, yeah. Moreno.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like there's so many like Hispanic cultures don't really give a fuck about being PC. Like that's one thing that I'm like when I hear someone like say something, I'm like, I've heard that before. Like, and people are like, oh my God. I'm like, nah, man, like we don't care about that, bro. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question with the teaching and stuff, man. I know that's always that's a good question actually. Most people don't ever really ask about that.
So we call apple in Tagalog manzanas. What do you guys call apple in Spanish?
Manzana. I know that
manzanas.
One.
Manzana.
That's same thing in the Spanish. I know manzana.
Yeah, manzana.
So I was in Mexico.
Similar.
I was in Mexico and didn't know a lick of Spanish, and the taxi driver did not know a lick of Spanish. But I go, okay, I'm going to the airport. Gave him a big fat tip. Man, this brother and I spoke about politics, his family, and about religion. And he's straight Spanish, and I'm doing my best Spanish with Tagalog mix. We understood each other. We were best friends at the end. That's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It happens, man. Language, communication, really. And that's one thing I tell people, and I think that's part of the success that we have with our podcast is I like communicating with people because we don't really nowadays in this society we don't really communicate with each other. We communicate with each other through memes and through fucking text messages. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've lost that art of like hanging out. Like I tell this to my wife a lot. Me and my wife talk a lot throughout the day. You know, a lot of decisions need to be made. I stay at home with the kiddo and whatnot, and I just don't understand how we've lost the art of being able to talk to each other, even if we disagree. Because, like, to me, man, it's like, you can disagree with me. What are you going to do? You can put your hands on me? That's adorable. That's not going to go very well, you know? And that's the thing is, like, when you have that level of confidence, like, you can speak about things. And then if I'm wrong about something, look, I'm wrong. There's been many times where we're on the show and I'll say something and I'll just readdress it. Like, hey, this was wrong. This is actually this. But it's all about communication, man. At the end of the day, that's what our interpreter is there, is to break the language barrier. And that's what
We just need to give everybody some puto with coconut shavings, brother, man. That will change that. We just need to give someone some puto, okay?
You gotta
Puto
clip that and
boom
send
boom.
that to me. That's fucking funny. That's fucking funny. Puto. I can't wait to tell that to my dad tomorrow morning. Be like, Papi, you want some puto? Hey, ¿qué tú dijiste? Yeah, puto. You don't know what puto is? Puto's delicious. You never had a...
calling me, cabrón?
You've never had a puto for $5? Bro, it'll fill you up. A $5 puto? Bro, you get him in the corner. Bro, I'm gonna so fuck with my father, man. He's like, Hispanic parents are so, like, they're not homophobic, but, like, if you watch your dad's like, ay, Dios mío, oh my God. My dad's like,
Oh my God, Spanish parents
shit.
are the same as
Yeah.
Filipino parents, man. My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
The
It's
fathers.
the same, bro.
Fuck it, I love
Oh,
my
yeah.
dad, but man, that is nothing PC. Nothing.
Try living with a guy who was a cop for 30 years, man.
Oh man,
It's not.
Like,
the world is not a fun
I'm
place.
sorry, man. I'm not gonna say we're not racist because we are, man. I remember I took a black.
Oh, fuck
chick-
yeah, we are, bro.
We,
Bro,
we
I got my
took a
grandma.
black chick to home, and it just right after we, and my dad said, come here, bring her home, Parker. Bring her home now. I'm like, and what I'm gonna tell her, man? She was like, Shauna, I gotta take you home. Oh, why, babe?
That's funny.
Yeah.
See, dude, that's why I keep my family 2,200 miles away. Can't tell me shit. Can't tell me shit. And I love my family, dude. Don't get me wrong. I love my family. I really do. I really love my family. But the type of life that I live, like, my parents don't get the whole podcasting thing. They're like, you're just talking on a microphone. Why don't you go work on the radio? I go, because that's not how this works. They're like, so you're just getting high and talking on the phone with people. I'm like,
What are you doing over there? Oh, a podcast?
Oh,
What the
yeah.
fuck is that?
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Dude,
Go
I
do
remember-
something. I'll get a real job. Be a nurse, motherfucker.
I remember, yeah, that's always it, right? A nurse, a cop, a firefighter, something with the fucking government, you know? I remember when I told, when I first joined, like, the military and stuff like that, and my parents, like, didn't take me seriously. And then I got back from Iraq, they still didn't take me seriously. And then I started doing jujitsu, and my dad was like, yeah, well, that little karate shit is good. And then I went to Puerto Rico, and this was years ago, and my dad saw me roll with, like, 6 people. And he was like, what the fuck? You just choked all 6 of them, like, just without breaking a sweat. And I'm like, yep, that's jiu-jitsu. Doesn't always go like that. Normally it's the other way around at my gym. But, man, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail.
Jiu-jitsu. So that means it's a very technical art. And that's
Jiu-jitsu?
why also... and that's why I think women also do well, because you have to be very limber, because you're over there just
women do better in jiu-jitsu because they truly understand how to do a technique, because most women are not trying to muscle through, right?
Preach.
They're like trying to really understand that's why women advance way faster. Not advanced, I'm sorry, but like that. They understand jiu-jitsu way faster than people. And when you see a chick that's a black belt, that's a bad bitch. And you better fucking watch it, because she will fucking break your leg. Trust me. And the thing is, obviously, there's weight classes for a reason, obviously. But dude, you grab anybody from the street and you teach them a couple of jiu-jitsu moves, and they'll be better off. The problem is that a lot of people don't take jiu-jitsu seriously, and they think that it's like, it's just a bunch of guys in pajamas. And it's like, yeah, like I'll tell you this, like, we had a guy that told one of our black belts, and this black belt, he's a combat infantryman, airborne ranger, fucking monster of a human being. No. He's like tier 2 guy because he was in the Rangers.
Okay.
And this one guy came from like another gym, and he was like a white belt, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll go," because he's a short guy. He's a short guy, and he's like a stocky guy, you know. And the guy goes like, "Yeah, I'll try to take it slow to not go too hard." And the dude was like 6'2". You know, my homie who's a black belt was like 5'5", and my homie just looked at him. He goes, "That's adorable. You think that you can stop me if I really wanted to kill you?" Just like that. Just like that. And then what proceeded to happen for 5 minutes was he just choked the piss out of this fucking dude. And then he got up and he goes, "See? No matter how much you try, you're just going to die tired." And the dude just walked out, and I saw like this look of fucking defeat on his face. And I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, that's why the biggest equalizer is either have a weapon or just run away.
Yeah,
it's my advice.
But jiu-jitsu is more like using the other person's leverage as compared to, is it the same as wrestling or
that's
grappling?
part of it. That's part of it, but you could say the same thing about judo. Jiu-jitsu is a problem-solving martial art. Because jiu-jitsu looks at a problem and goes, "Okay, this keeps happening to me. Well, what are you doing that keeps happening?" "Well, I put my knee in this place and then he moves it." So don't put your fucking knee there. "Oh, okay. Well, now I put my hand here and he takes my hand." Because you're letting him take your hand. You're not keeping your hand tied to your body. "Well, what do I do when someone's on my back and I'm standing and they're dragging me?" Well, the first thing is you got to do this. How are they doing it?" "Oh, okay." Because it changes, you know? Because you could say that judo's an art that you use their momentum. Because there's judo and jiu-jitsu. There's kisakatami, there's ogoshi, kisakatami, and I forgot the other fucking names. That shows you how much judo I play. But jiu-jitsu is a problem-solving martial art. And I can go 100% and go as hard as I can, and I can choke you and then nothing else will happen. Or I can go 100% and I can choke you and hold the choke until the cops get there in 15 minutes and you will be dead. Because what happens to your brain when it doesn't receive blood?
Yes. That's it. Yeah.
Starts to swell up. So if you hold a choke, which there's a difference in a choke. There's a blood choke and there's an air choke. Right? An air choke, I might as well just fucking punch your trachea. And even then, like, for you to break this, it's not like you gotta like really aim it. And you might break or injure it a little bit, which they won't be able to talk, but they'll still breathe. So you might as well just put them to sleep. It's just easier to put a motherfucker to sleep. Because no matter how tough you are, if I grab your fucking neck and I just squeeze, you're going to go to fucking sleep. Doesn't matter. Does not matter because I'm cutting the blood flow from the carotid up to your brain. So that's the thing with jiu-jitsu. Now the other thing with jiu-jitsu is if I judo throw you, I slam you on your head on the concrete, you're probably not going to get up.
Right.
You know? So like there's a variety of things that you can do. You know, there's like self-defense too. Like what do you do if someone bear hugs you? You know, how do you get out of that? How do you get out when someone like has you on like that uncle thing where they grab your head and they're just giving you wet willies? How do you get out of that? There's a technique for that. There's leverage for that. There's body placement for that, you know? And that's the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is that you can go 100%. Like we could go 100% on judo and throw each other, but I think after like the 5th or 7th throw, like my back and my ribs are gonna be feeling it, you know.
Right.
And that's the thing is understanding what's happening in the moment, you know.
Right.
Like is my opponent shifting his weight back? Is he shifting his weight forward? Is he looking down? Is he looking up? Are his hands on my hip? Are his hands on my chest? Are his hands on my legs? You know? And that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. It teaches you how to deal with problems one step at a time.
How long have you been practicing, Rico?
Under Brian Stubner for 9 years. Before that, I trained for like 3 years. So about 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're a black belt?
Nah, man. I'm a purple belt.
Okay.
I'm just a purple belt. I got a little bit of a ways.
So purple belt. So you're what? 3 or 4?
Brown and black.
Brown and
then black.
Yeah. Yeah. Purple.
Yeah, brown and then black. Yeah. I like being a purple belt though.
Yeah. I know. Even in martial arts regular, you know, at the Kaji Kembo, purple is the most challenging. I mean,
I like being a purple because everybody just ignores you. In the beginning, it wasn't fun. In the beginning, everybody tried to choke you because it's like, oh, it's a purple belt. Now it's like everybody looks at me and they go, oh, it's the purple belt in the corner, and they don't really fuck with me. And then they're like, oh my god, what's happening here? Like, so that's why I like purple belt. Blue belt was rough. Blue belt was
what's the color? White? What?
White, blue, purple, brown, black.
Okay, that's easy.
Yeah. Purple belt, you're halfway there. Like you should not quit at purple belt. You really shouldn't quit at all. Like you really shouldn't really quit at all. But purple belt, if you quit at purple belt, bro, like I'm sorry, you should get pegged by your wife or your girlfriend. Unless you're into that.
And the belt system, it's just dependent on the master to decide if the student is ready. There's no
pretty much like there's certain things like, you know, like to me, I can't speak for brown or black belt because I'm just a purple belt, but to me a white belt understands how to calm down. That's the number one thing we have to teach you as a white belt. It's how to calm down, because if not, shit like this fucking happens when you can't calm down. You know, you're grabbing me and like trying to do things. And the thing is, some people might say that jiu-jitsu shit don't work. If I get on top of you, I'm just going to gouge your eyes out. You're absolutely right. Let me explain something to you. If I do jiu-jitsu to you and I can gouge your eyes out, I'm going to do jiu-jitsu, but I'm not going to finish jiu-jitsu. I'm going to gouge your fucking eyes out while doing jiu-jitsu to you. So like that's a terrifying thought, that it's like, oh, you think that I don't put my finger in your fucking eye, or I break your nose, or I snap your neck because I'm doing jiu-jitsu? No, I'm just going to do jiu-jitsu and do all of that. But the thing with jiu-jitsu is that, you know, white belts, I believe they need to learn how to relax. You need to learn how to relax, and you need to learn how to keep your composure and develop your cardio. A blue belt should start understanding fundamentals. Like you should know all your fundamentals. Like you should understand, hey, why do we take a match to the floor? What happens after a person's on the floor and I'm standing over them? You know, why do we have positions the way that we do positions? Like, why do we get points for being on top, for taking your back, for passing your guard? Well, we get points because I'm in a better position to punch you. That's why we get points in jiu-jitsu. You get points because you're in a better position to punch or to strike, or to stab and shoot, you know, either or. So that's the thing with jiu-jitsu that I love. Like I didn't know that. I thought it was just straight grappling, like, you know, like wrestling. I didn't know that you're given points by punching. That's a new thing. I didn't understand. Not punching is by being in a position where I can punch. Right.
Oh, being in the position where you can punch.
Being in a position, for example, if I'm on top of you, right, both my knees are on the ground, both my toes are touching the ground, and I'm pinching you tightly, and I'm on top of you. You're not gonna be able to bench me. You bench me, like I'm gonna armbar the fuck out of you, right? Or I'm gonna grab your hand, I'm gonna wrist lock you, and then I'm gonna slide on an armbar, right? And obviously there's always the constriction of strength does matter, because if you have enough strength, you can get away with a lot of things, right? But the thing is it's better to understand the technique and then add strength to it, you know. So when we're talking about jiu-jitsu, you know, if I mount you, or if I pass your legs, right? If I pass your legs and your hip, I've passed what is probably the most dangerous. Because if you're on your back and I get on top of you and you kick me in the face, you can kill me. Like you hit me on the nose in the right angle, push it up, and you can kill me. You hit me on the chin, I fall and hit my head, you can kill me. That's why you have to pass the feet, then pass the legs, then pass the knees, then pass the hip, and then you're completely past someone and you can dominate them. Then if you take their back, why is the back the best position? Because your opponent can't see you.
Right.
You can't see what I'm doing. I could spit in my finger and give you a wet willy and then slap the fuck out of you and rear naked choke you. There's not a fucking thing you can see. So that's why positions are awarded like that. You are awarded position based upon where you are in a safe position to control and strike. Not that you do strike in jiu-jitsu. There's not much strikings, unless you're bored and you want to play the slap game, which I don't.
Right.
I don't think the slap game should be played. That can get out of hand. That gets out of hand real quick. I guess that I had real quick at our gym, bro. It's like, oh, you slap me as hard as you want, I'm gonna slap you.
That's it. I'm gonna have to gouge your eyes out.
So shit like that happens, man. But jiu-jitsu is dope, dude. I just got back from jiu-jitsu like 3 hours ago.
Wow.
So, dude, I'm telling you, jiu-jitsu is dope, man. Everybody should try jiu-jitsu. You should put your kids in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You should, 100%.
I have my little one in just basically it's martial arts now. He's just the way his belt says he's like in the 5 to 7 year old. So he's actually going to test for his little dragon's black belt next week, you know, and then whatever. But it's one of those Ernie Reyes West Coast martial arts schools. So I don't know, but I want to, because, you know, we wrestle and stuff, and just the way his stature and everything and the way he be kind of getting me in some natural locks, you know, whatever the one is where I don't know if it's the rear naked, but like we'll be wrestling and he'll throw his hips around my waist and then he'll just get me in a choke and then he'll start like pounding my stomach or something. I'm like, bro, I didn't even think that. And then
say uncle, Dad. I'll say uncle.
I'm like, you're too strong for 7, bro.
You should cultivate that.
Yeah,
you should cultivate that. That's a good thing. My kid's 3, and what we do is we teach her. You know, the biggest thing you have to understand at a white belt also is not to hurt yourself. It's like the biggest thing we got to teach our white and blue belts is like, man, how not to hurt yourself. Hey, if you move your body in this direction with your leg here, you can hurt yourself. If I have you in a footlock and you turn downward and I keep ripping on it, I'm gonna break it. You know, or not. I'm gonna break it. Like there's a possibility of injury, and there's a possibility of injury with anything you do. You know, like if you do, you know, boxing, contact boxing, and you punch me in the face and I have a concussion, a million things could happen, man. That's why I tell people, like, don't get in fights. Like, getting in a fight is not a smart thing. Just walk away. Let that dude talk all the shit. Things change when you grab me.
Yeah.
That's when things change. Once you touch me, and I always give people a 2 warning. Like we always tell people at the gym, like, listen, just get out and walk away. Be like, I don't want problems. I don't want any problems. I'm just gonna walk away. You have a good day, and just walk away. And a lot of times that throws people off, and they like let you be. They'll talk shit, but it's like, dude, you have no idea what you just prevented. You know, like that's why you see these UFC guys. They walk around, and they always have like little chulos with them, because it's like you don't know if a motherfucker is gonna get dumb. And people are like that all the time.
They're always testing you.
Yeah, I had a comic one time. Like, he smacked like the back of my hand, and I looked at him and I said, first of all, don't ever hit me again. Second of all, the next time you do that, I'm breaking your fucking hand. And I meant it. Because like violence is not pretty. That's what most people don't understand.
No.
It's like violence is not a pretty thing. But at the same time, you have to be able to defend yourself and effectively, because if not, you're kind of like a bunny.
Right.
Like how threatening is a bunny to you?
They're lovable.
You're like, oh my god, it's so cute. That's how I feel. Like I had someone one time tell me that they were gonna fuck me up, and I kind of just looked at them and I laughed, and I was like, dude, you're like a teddy bear. Like, you ain't gonna do shit. And the person took offense to it, and I'm being honest. Like, you don't train, you don't go shoot, you don't even work out. Like, you think you're just gonna get up, see red? Like, yeah, you might. Listen, you might do some bold shit. Like, this is the thing I tell people is when you're fighting someone in the street, like they might catch you, man. They might hit you with a bottle, and man, that's cool. Just understand that it's gonna be my turn next.
Right.
It's gonna be my turn.
You better get that one bottle across your head, put you out. Because if you get it,
you're better off killing me. You're better off
right.
killing the person, dude. Because the thing is like I'm gonna think about it like if I'm going to court. Like, okay, you hit me in the head, cool, no problem. We're gonna deal with it in the moment. If not, I'm gonna go get help, and then we're gonna deal with it legally. But the thing is like I just don't want the problem. Like, dude, my buddies tell this story. It was like the first tournament I did 5 months in training. This was like 9 years ago, and we went to a bar, and the dude bumped into me, and I had just won a tournament that day. Like, I fucking rear naked choke a guy and then armbarred the other guy, and I was like riding like cloud 9, and this fucking dude bumps into my friend, and my buddy goes, "We got a problem here?" And the dude looks at my buddy, looks at my other buddy, looks at me. He goes, "Nah, I ain't got a problem with you. I got a problem with the little man. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, I didn't even touch you. And dude, I ended up just buying the dude a drink. Just bought the dude a drink, man. That was it. Like that was it. I'm not gonna get into.
Yeah. It's
just not worth it, dude.
De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya never got into any street fight because his brother said, unless you're paying him money, why would he fight you?
Yeah.
Unless he's getting paid, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is like you don't, if you go around trying to be all Billy badass, like, dude, there's always someone bigger and badder than you. You just have to be confident that you can defend yourself. And that's the thing that I tell people is that jiu-jitsu gives you, is it gives you a legitimate confidence for you to be able to tackle, because you have to do jiu-jitsu. Like, you have to. You can't just go do jiu-jitsu and like pretend to do the moves. No, you have to go roll, you have to go grapple, and you have to put it into application.
You have to train. Yeah.
Train, and it's not fun sometimes. It's not fun sometimes.
Nope.
But gentlemen, you have been amazing, and I hate to cut short, but I'd love to come back sometime and talk more. And I'd love to extend an invitation to both of you to our show, because you've been very, very gracious hosts. Absolutely. And I've had a great time. Like, normally people don't ask this many good questions, and you guys are going on the right path. Like, normally I dip after an hour.
Thank you for giving us the extra 45 minutes, Rico. Yeah. However, I do want to. If you, I'm sorry.
How long have we been on?
An hour, almost 2 hours. Yeah.
Holy shit! It's almost midnight, bro.
Yeah.
I did not see the time because I got you guys like zoomed in on the thing. Okay. Holy cow! Yeah, dude, you guys, 100%. You guys have an open invite.
I was like, we'll get you out of here in a minute, like 40 minutes. That's what we do.
Actually, before you leave, Rico, I want to share something with you. The one I told you, in the Bible says that you have the spirit to. I mean, you have the gift to speak language and to interpret language. If you have a pen, it's actually 1 Corinthians chapter 12, 1 to 11. Check it out. That's my gift for you, brother. That's my gift to you.
Yeah, I got it in. Okay, I'm gonna go look that up.
Yeah,
gentlemen, you've been awesome, and I'd love to have you both on the show. You guys have been real awesome, and I don't know, man. I don't know how else to like show my appreciation. But if you guys ever need anything, you guys need to have Tommy Chong on.
Oh, yeah.
You guys should have
Actually, we do. I mean, Harris, what do you need? Yeah, Harris, what do you need from our brother Rico here?
Oh man, no, it's I'll talk to you on the back end. I do want to pick your brain about maybe going for getting the podcast audio and things like that. Maybe just pick your brain in the back end, but I definitely want to come on and do your podcast as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to contact me is through, you got my number. So just shoot me a message or a text, and I answer that way faster than I'll answer a phone call. But yeah, man, whatever you need, you guys have. If you guys see somebody on my list that you like, just let me know. We'll send them your way so you guys can have them. You guys should have Tommy. Tommy, I think would be. I think Tommy Chong would have fun here, especially if you'll smoke with him. He'll definitely have a good time. You'll have a good time with Tommy,
bro. I mean, I stay rolled up with 2 or 3 before the show. I know my strains, man. I don't watch my Up and Smoke and the whole 9, man. Oh man.
No, I'll send you his info tomorrow, so you guys. There you go. Tell your people you're gonna have Tommy Chong here soon. Because once we send him somebody, he never says no. He's always said yes. Tommy loves us. Tommy loves us. His producer loves us.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's good to have relationships like that, man. A plug? No, the plug's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
No, I mean, Harris, would you introduce him so that we can put him on our plug list of saying her name to the public, and introduce yourself?
Man.
Rico's and everyone says Harris has been drinking. It's just Harris is Drinking Again podcast.
Harrison is Drinking Again podcast. Listen, if you
have any Harris is Drinking Again. No Ben. Harris is Drinking Again.
All right, Harris is Drinking Again.
No, introduce
this has
yourself
been-
first, and then.
Oh, okay. There we go.
You gotta give yourself
I'm
a
so
plug
sorry.
too.
So
Okay.
so listen, man. My name is Ricardo Aviles, and I'm on the Harris is Drinking Again. So if you're not doing anything, you better be listening to this podcast. If you're not listening to this podcast, you're fucking dead to me.
Yes. Love it, man. Thank you, brother Rico. Yes.
Guys, thank you so much. I got to
Hey,
bounce
man.
to everybody listening. God bless you. It's Veterans
Thank you
Month,
too, brother. Thank you.
so if you need any help, man, get the fucking help. Take your fucking happy pills. Take your meds, man. It's a rough time for veterans, a rough time for everybody. But thank you for having me, y'all. Love y'all very much, man.
Maraming
Don't take it
salamat,
easy.
pare ko.
All right, man. You have a good night, bro.
Eat some puto.
Man, Rico Podcast. That's right. Go get some help. 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357. The National Drug Addiction Hotline. Call now.
My brother, I gotta take a tinkle, so I'm gonna put my thing here on mute, and then I'll come back. I'll be right back.
Go get yourself some help. We're all struggling with something. So there's the number there. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Rico, Richard Aviles, man. This was an amazing podcast, was it not? He gamed us up, man. We got so much information, so much knowledge in tonight's show. Wow. Talking about languages and MMA, jiu-jitsu, the wealth of knowledge and the connects that we're building here. And y'all heard it, man. We need Tommy Chong, bro. Tommy Chong on the Harris is Drinking Again podcast. Oh, shit. That's what's cracking. That's happening. And we're just continuing to go up, man. We're going to get the podcast up on this Apple and the Spotify. And as we roll into year 2, shout out to Abe7 over on Podbean. Salute to you, sir. Thanks for tapping in with us. Chino Boy, I see you, man. Chino Boy was up in the chat. Go stream Chino Boy on Spotify now. You bitch you. And check out Chino Boy on YouTube. Give him a subscribe. Run up them numbers. Shout out to my boy Joey as well. On standby tonight. If you're still listening, brother, salute, man. And we just making really dope content here. That was an amazing podcast. And when Ray gets back up in the building, we're gonna get a little deeper into this conversation that we just had, man. This whole thing is moving and grooving very, very fastly. This Saturday, Harris is Drinking Again podcast will be doing the Ignorance is Strength podcast, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then next week, we have Juan Vasquez. And I have 2 other shows that I'm going to go on. And you heard it here. We're going on Rico's show. We're going to get Chewy back over here. So we're trying to book the month of December currently. Next week, I got an artist coming on, The Moment, out of LA. R&B. I'm going to say an R&B artist, hip-hop artist. He sings, plays guitar. And a real fly brother by way of Mr. KOG, The Moments. And you can go check him out on Instagram, I believe under TML Streaming on Instagram. Or type in The Moment Live on Instagram. And he'll be on next week. I'll have the thumbnail done this weekend. Or excuse me, is it next week? No, yeah, sorry. 2 weeks is Juan Vasquez. Next week is The Moment. And then we got our Thanksgiving show coming up. And I want to do something big. I understand that people are going to be with their families, be in food comas. And I'm going to ask Ray here as well, man, because I want to do a live Thanksgiving show and eat on the show, break bread, and chop it up. And have like a 4-hour fucking, just a hell of a show. Thanksgiving marathon type of shit. And then after that, we have... Man, we got so many guests. We're up in the building, baby. This podcasting thing, man, taking off, man. I love it. Brian B Show. We're doing the Brian B Show from Beeline Entertainment. I got another email before the start of this show from another opportunity. So, man, things is just moving and grooving over here. Moving and grooving. We might have to get into some flows. I don't know. 2-hour show. I'm liking this though. 7 o'clock. We got in, we got out. We handled the biz. We handled the biz. We handled the biz. Never that. Never that on did. Thursday night. And we get so hyped. Shout out to the chat. Is it what you like? I was drinking. Cause I'm always thinking how I can stop my shit from sinking. Keep on floating. And I'm token. And you know this. And provoking. We just having fun. We ain't even talking about no guns. Evilish ones. Drink responsibly. Here we go again. I have some weed. Gonna get Tommy Chong on here. Just get some. Man, moving and grooving, baby. I'm gonna reach out to Lil Kelpie as well, try to get him back on the show. Go check him out on Cam Capone. He's up on Cam Capone. But he was here on the Harris is Drinking Again for his third media run ever, man. The clip's up over 6,000 views on the channel. And hopefully tonight, man, we're going to be over 150 subs and counting. And get it up on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, etc., etc. It's going to be great. Marley Hobson, Podbean, shout out to you. We're up over here on the YouTube. Harris to Drink It Again. Thursday night Rants show. Brother Ray G.
I know you're gonna scold at me, bro. I've been eating my pizza for dinner, so
yeah.
Kind of.
I see you. I see you. Speaking of eating, though, you're over there in Reno. I'm sure you get, whatever Thanksgiving. It's on a Thursday, obviously. I want to do a fucking Thanksgiving show, and I want to eat with you on the show, man. I want to break bread.
Man, I was hoping you'd be over here, cause if you drive over here, we can hang out at Don Beanie Boy's, Beanie Bean's house. He said.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm freezing. Damn.
It's gonna be I won't be able to make it for Thanksgiving.
Damn.
But I know a lot of people are, gonna be in food comas, and most guests aren't gonna want to go on Thanksgiving. But I got a consistency regardless. So my plan, whether you join late or right away, whatever, I'm gonna make me a big old plate and have me a drink, and I'm just gonna come on the show and do a Thanksgiving edition, man, and spit some flow. hopefully I can get some rappers to come on like after the game, after they're all full and shit, and fucking have a little Thanksgiving show. I think that would be dope.
I think that'd be cool. You know what? Maybe Thanksgiving. Sorry, eating on the show. I know it's against the rule. Hold on.
We're gonna dock Ray's pay.
I may be up either in Sac with my boy Dave or in Sassoon.
Yeah.
But I bring my gear in.
Yeah. No, that'd be dope. Well, I mean, if you're gonna eat, I mean, I do have a little something here just in case I want.
So now we're gonna eat a Harris's drinking again. Okay, I'm down.
Well, it's funny because I was reading like comments and shit the other day of an interviewer, prominent interviewer, and there was like 7-8 people in the comments that was like, "Motherfucker, eat before the show." Like there was like, so it's like a thing. A lot of people don't, they were getting on the dude being interviewed because he's sitting there eating cookies and shit.
Oh, that's wrong.
And they were like, but some of the people in the comments were like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna say it again, eat before the fucking show, or I'm unsubscribing.
All right, fine.
But then that whole what's it, silent eating, that ASMR or whatever, like where they chew. There's a whole category where people just go and they like to listen to the crunch of people eating and shit like that. It's really.
What about have you heard of mukbang, where people actually watch you eat? Like, actually it's called mukbang. I think it's a Korean thing. It's all on the internet. And
mukbang
or something like that. Mukbang or something like that. And I tell you, my daughter, when she eats, I mean, I've been said the same thing too, but I said, babe, when you eat, I want to eat too. It's just the way she chews her food and everything. She just makes the food look good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm feeling the Reno weather on my peacoat, bro. I'm feeling the Reno weather in my peacoat.
You out there in the garage too, huh? Yeah, getting a little.
Yeah.
But you got a nice setup over there. Man, like we don't, I don't really got much to. It's like, bro, now that we're getting these guests, we can almost just come in, we get to the guests, we shoot the shit, and we out of here, man. It's like, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we heard what he said. It's basically, so what does that mean? Shorter shows now? Yeah.
I think a little shorter, a little sweeter. And like, of course, like, on any given night, if Kango shot me, hey, get this guy on, or if the chat's going crazy, we'll hang around.
Mm-hmm.
But I think nights that we can, and of course for me, man, if I can get off live before midnight, I'm fucking happy. And I wanted to mention this. Sunday is time change.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep the 9 o'clock, but I'm gonna drop it to 8 if that's cool with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're gaining an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
But to start at 9, and then
yeah.
So I kind of want to fall back and do TNR Rants live 8 p.m. winter hours,
Mm-hmm.
And 7 p.m. your time if that's.
Now, how do you feel if we because now I got my setup in the garage, and we're pretty much just an hour away, and
more off the cuffs.
Like Rico said, man. What I learned from him, other than jiu-jitsu, he taught me a lot about jiu-jitsu. I mean, sign up my nephew in jiu-jitsu, please, because I think he'll be good at it. Is maybe a little shorter, but a little bit more frequent, more posting. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, the shorter shows, I'm behind. I'm like 10 episodes behind on the clips, so the shorter shows going forward until I can get caught up because we get through between
I know, man.
2 and episode 39. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
and that's a lot of work on your part.
But and then when we do an audio, when we switch to audio form, then I think we can do more often because we can just focus on, hey, we could come in and hit them with an hour, or we could come in, and when I listen to myself on Chewy Show and Who They Want, well, mainly Chewy Show, because Who They Want, we were still on camera, but there's a different way that you kind of speak. If you're looking at a camera and we're dialoguing, looking at each other, versus if we're just strictly audio and it's like
and maybe of course you and I both OCD and Tourette's and all that bullshit, and short attention span, having a short attention span, and for us to and Rico was right. When he's interpreting, he doesn't look so he can understand, and it opens all the synopsis or whatever you call it, all the synergy in the brain whatsoever. Yeah. Now the question is, if we do the audio, we don't even need to, but we can also transfer this, without the video, just make it into audio, right? What we're doing now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna figure out that I signed up for Anchor, but there's something you need to plug your RSS feed, and they pull your podcast into their system. Now, that's what I want to holler at Rico on the back end and ask, just to see if you can upload individual shows, because I don't have an RSS feed technically, because it's just YouTube. I don't know. And Melon only stores the video for the 15 days, but I can go into YouTube and download all the way back this whole year. So as long as I upload individually to Anchor, that's we're in the game.
So you're saying all of our YouTube vids that we've done, what is now 41 episode, 41st episode?
Yeah,
41st episode. You can download that into the audio into the Anchor. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know that part.
I don't see why not, though.
When you sign up, it just says type in your podcast and your RSS feed, and they'll upload it for you. But that means you have to have it somewhere listed with the RSS feed. I'm not sure about all that, but I'm gonna look. Yeah. We're real close, man. We're on such a good timeline, such good projection, and honestly, I want to be audio. I want to be up on Spotify, Apple,
right? iTunes podcast. Yeah.
Before we get Tommy on here, like around that time, I'd like to have, and he hit on a lot of good points. The downloads, all that stuff, man. We're just we're missing out on, but it's good because we're starting to, we're attacking video first.
Yeah,
getting a good YouTube foundation, and then once people start knowing, man, with truckers, different people, and then spreading the word. Some of Rico's listeners, Chewy, DJ Steady, start mingling, and hey, come listen to our podcast and check this person out.
Yeah.
Year 2 is going to be excellent, man.
Right, and pretty soon, by the way, I'm going to launch my Talk Teach Truth here. I know I've been sandbagging because I've been busy, on Harris is drinking again, but the timing's going to be good. And and I'll put that on the audio podcast for that platform, and even the YouTube channel, just what we're doing now. Yeah.
We're going to have our own network of shows. It's going to start with me and you, man.
Well, I want to give a shout out to our boy Chino boy. Been a while, Chino. There's one, he's on the chat line. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah. So good looking out.
In the building, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So next week, we don't have an official guest, but I scheduled one. We have a singer, plays guitar. He's by way of Andre, Mr. KOG. It's one of his
Oh.
buddies out of LA.
Mm-hmm.
He hit me up, man. When can I get on the show? He was gonna come on tonight a little bit, but I said, you know what, man? I said I want to, I could throw you on after our main guest, but I said the way our show's going now, pretty much is what we have is a headliner every fucking week now. We got headliners. We ain't no more this and that. We got a show, goddammit. So every week we got a headliner, right? And it's gonna be just like just like a show. If you want, from 9 to 10, 9:30 to 11 is like the headliner. And then after that, we might schedule another, subliner, B-list,
Right. All right, we'll see.
Up and coming, a local, so that
Mm-hmm.
but we got some hitters now. But I'm gonna give. He goes by the moment, and
The moment, yeah.
what I like about this brother is he's a grown ass man, but he's professional from what I've seen, and he's on top of it. I asked him, I said, bro, send me like your links and your headshot. Man, 3 minutes later, motherfucker email me his shit.
That's the way to work it. That is the way to work it.
Yep. And because I told him, I said, I want to give you the maximum exposure, bro. I said, you can come on tonight. But I said, the way I'm doing it now is I'm making a special thumbnail for the guests, and I start promoting it throughout the week and everything. And, hopefully they take the thumbnail and they promote it on their platforms. And so, next week we got him, man. He plays guitar. He's got some music. He performs. And he's a stylish motherfucker, just like Andre. So, the brother's got swag. It goes by The Moment Live. You can catch him on Instagram, TML. The Moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got a couple of videos and stuff. And,
right.
and we're going to come on and hopefully he can, give us a little serenade, sing some stuff for us, man. He got a nice voice, man.
Oh, nice. Okay. And that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that, man. Yeah. So what's the format now? I mean, 2 hours is good or what?
Yeah, just a week by week basis. But yeah, let's focus on this, and then
maybe what if maybe an hour, 2 hours TNR is gonna be our mainstay, and now that we're both freed up in time, we'll do little hours here. Maybe more posting, so that way it's less editing and make the editing more fun. I know you've been putting a lot, but 4 hours and you're going to go comb through 4 hours of content. I mean, it's great, but man, now we're both experiencing the work that goes into it, which is fine, but you're busy, I'm busy, and whatnot. So
I'm glad Rico touched on that too, is people to understand that we have 4 hour conversations throughout the week because this is a business. So there's a lot that goes into it. There's been but we could do some more off the cuffs now that you're set up, and then, but really we got so many other shows to do because now we're being booked this Saturday night, 7 p.m. The Ignorance is Strength podcast.
Ignorance is Strength podcast. That would be interesting.
Ignorance is Strength podcast. Fabian, talks all things, all things. So I don't know. We're gonna get into. I'm just being bombarded with people requesting Brian B from Beeline Entertainment. I got he's coming on December 1st.
Right.
So the week after Thursday, and then I gotta schedule his show before the end of the month, and then this other guy before we got on the show is asking, so it's crazy, man.
Ooh, if we can have somebody somehow talk to Steve about possibly booking Tommy Chong on the Thanksgiving, and we can title it "Smoke This Turkey Base."
Wow.
Wow. Because who's who's gonna be on there? Scoob's brother, Boogie, Brian Boogie. He's like, oh yeah, I'll be on Tommy Chung. Oh yeah, I'll chief with you guys while Tommy's there, and Boogie's, Scoob's family, looking crazy, man. So yeah, it's just crazy. Can I just get a look, man? I'm still pinching myself, bro. I mean, I'm not far from you anymore. I got two of my boys. I'm working with them, Scoob and Beanie. I mean, and we're running a really good, and the kind of work that they do. I mean, I plug to what they call this occupation called disability service workers. Plug to them because I'm being trained to do that work, bro. And I tell you what, we help people that are adult with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, or maybe has a bit of autism and whatnot. And it's just these people are just amazingly magical, man.
Yeah.
They're just amazing and such a rewarding type of work. And I just don't think that they're getting the right respect that they should have. But I want to have them on the show and they talk about them, because that's the whole plan. Is that I want to basically have DSWs like being known like this is a serious occupation. This should be a major in college, because you're dealing with an adult with intellectual disabilities, and the reaction is not the same way as you and I will have it. You and I will be like, oh yeah, all right, fuck off, whatever. To us, that's like joking. To them, they may be laughing and they're saying that, but they're dead serious. I mean, School basically said one time he was in Target and he had this client, and he's like a big dude. He's like over, close to 300 pounds. And they were in Target, and he wanted to get this video, and he didn't have enough money. And that dude threw a fit, and Scoop said, I'm not going to move this dude. He's like twice my size, And he had to talk him into it and everything. I'm going, I don't know how you did it, but somehow, Scoob is magical at what he does. And Scoob. Scoob will fight in the drop of a hat, man. But when it comes to these people, I mean, Scoob is like no patient having motherfucker. He'll just drop of a hat, when you was over here. And but when it comes to these people, these what they call them, IDD, intellectually disabled disorder, he's amazing, man.
Yeah. That's dope.
So, and shout out, just to let you know, we need to hire more DSWs here in Reno, Sparks area. So if you're hearing this, I should give you the number and everything, because that's my mission, is to really have more DSWs to help these IDDs. Yeah. So, yeah. But that's my piece, Mo. That's what I do.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. Okay.
So man. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Get you out of here and
man. Wow. Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do this week, man.
We got a lot of work to do. Well, anyways, my brother, man, great show. Like I said, I'm still pinching myself, and great.
12
great
years.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. You go ahead and finish the show, my brother, and you know what's up.
All right. If anything, I will see you Saturday. You can catch us on the Ignorance is Strength podcast Saturday night, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 Mountain Time. Ignorance is Strength. Type them in on YouTube, Spotify, and go listen to me.
Ignorance is Strength. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Sounds
yeah,
like right up your alley, man. You gonna get deep on that one or something,
Ho. So Saturday, right? Okay.
Saturday.
At night. Okay. 6 o'clock, you said?
Yeah.
Perfect. Just when Sabbath is about done. Almost done. Okay. Cool. I can do that. All right, brother man. Love you, brother man. I'm back home. And by the way, Happy birthday, Scoob. Happy birthday, the big 3-9. He's the oldest one of you motherfuckers. 3-9.
Hey, Scoob, man.
Scoob, yeah, happy birthday. All right, brother, I'm out of here, man. God bless you guys. All right, bro. Love you, man. All right.
Have a good night, bro.
Okay, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Ray G. All right. This has been, man, a beautiful episode 041 of the
Harry's Drinking Again
podcast. Thank y'all so very much. This was the last week of the 9 p.m. time slot. We will be switching to 8 p.m. We're falling back with the fall hours. So 8 p.m. From November to March. We're going to be rocking Thursday night, 8 p.m. Thursday night, don't change. It ain't going nowhere, baby. We just, still going to be 9, but it's really going to be 8. It's really going to be 8, but it's really going to be 9. So we'll see y'all next Thursday, 8 o'clock p.m. The moment. And it will be the moment that y'all have been waiting for. Right here on the Harris is Drinking Again podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Go check us out on Twitch under Hida Podcast, HIDA Podcast. Podbean, Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9. We got a lot of content coming. You heard it here tonight. We will have Tommy Chong on the Harris is Drinking Again podcast, and that night it will be the Harris is Smoking Again podcast. Oh, that's going to be legendary. Fucking legendary. Thank you so much to Rico, Richard Aviles, interpreter, jiu-jitsu extraordinaire, and a dedicated father, amongst many, many more things. A wonderful connection was made tonight. And thank y'all to everybody that tapped in with us, man. So until then,
Harry's Drinking
we'll see y'all
Again
Saturday night, Ignorance is Strength podcast. Other than that, next week, 8 p.m. right here, Harris Drinking Again podcast on YouTube. Salute. Yeah.
Harry's
Come with the news. Yeah, that you know. Harris is drinking